I'm Yannick from Kotaku here with Trent Custers. He's showing me his new game, Armello. That's how you pronounce it, right?
Yep, Armello.
So this is the first screen that we kind of get into when you're first starting the game, or is this just for the preview?
Yeah, this is the first screen. So this is actually all placeholder at the moment. This is our our alpha screen. But yeah, this is, we got multiplayer and single player. So single player, you can play against AI, but you can play up to 4 players multiplayer. So we can basically select a hero here, go through this stuff. They've all got different stats and different talents, and each hero has a different hero power and a unique talent tree. So choose Mercurio the rat.
Is it going to be these core 4?
Yeah, so we've got these core 4, and then in our Kickstarter at the moment, we also have an exclusive bandit clan that the Kickstarter backers can get a hold of. So there are 4 other heroes there. So we've got like a fox, an otter, a squirrel, and a badger.
Yeah.
But we want to do more heroes too. So as the game goes on, and maybe leading up to release, we'll announce some more, and then post-release, we want to sort of have a bit of a League of Legends thing going on. Where you can pick different heroes to play.
Right.
So after you choose your hero, you can choose a ring and then an amulet to load out.
Okay.
So, and these give you, basically, they just augment your hero in different ways. So rings can only be used by heroes of that clan, and amulets can be used by any hero.
Gotcha. So I probably should ask this before, but what is the kind of game genre that you see this in most closely?
It's basically like a digital board game. You just imagine a board game brought to life. That's really what we're trying to do here. So there are a number of things that we want to do with that. It's like create a world that people can totally dive into, that's fully alive and immersive. Like even things like on this hex board, like having the hex tiles be seamless, and having clouds around the place, and birds flying around. Like really bring it to life. Chimney stacks and the towns and the lights coming on at night. So we've spent a bit of time going to this. This is only the alpha build at the moment.
Oh,
so there's a lot more to do, but because we prototyped it on paper for about 8 months, there's a lot that we already knew about how the game worked and how it played. And then when we took it to digital platforms, it was really all about, can we do the things that we want to do, in regards to animation? Can we get these characters animating the way they are? Can we get, how many polys can we get on screen? And then can we do things like, all of our cards are animated as well, so we've got over 100 animated cards. So it's like, what's the pipeline for that? And how much does that weigh down on the systems and stuff? So
let's, I guess, just walk me through then. This is like how each
this is how
begins.
Yeah, exactly. So you start as with your clan hero. You start off in one of the corners of the map, so you can see you've got these guys over here as well.
Oh, okay.
Now the map, these are our opponents, and now the map is procedurally generated. The rabbit's awesome.
Yeah.
The map is procedurally generated, so you always start off in the corners, and the palace is always in the center. For these other tiles, there's 7 different tile types, and they're based on an algorithm that we've got to make sure that it's balanced all the time. The map is completely randomly generated.
And what is the kind of ultimate goal or objective, or what are you working towards in the game?
Good question. We've got, the king is in the center here in this palace, and basically what will happen is all of the heroes are going out questing around the board, trying to become as powerful as possible so that they can take on the king and become king of Armello.
Gotcha.
Because the king is dying of this dark force called the Rot, and as he's slipping into madness, the clans have come together and said, all right, it's time, we're going to send our heroes out and claim the throne, because things have got a bit too intense in the land of Armello. But we take our hero and we can tap on a tile to move like this. So if I was to stay in this forest here when it turns to night, because there's a full day-night cycle, we would be stealth in that forest, and that means that our enemies would, we'd get a combat bonus against our enemies. We have other things as well, like...
Who are these other guys?
These guys down here in the corner, these are the King's Guard over here. But we have, I just walked onto a quest then, so we have FTL style quests too.
Oh, nice.
So basically multiple options there, and every time you play, the quest line is different. So it could be this quest, my first quest could be this with this game, but then next game it could be a completely different quest, and the options that I have in the quest change depending on the hero that I'm playing or my build.
Right.
And each clan has their own unique quest lines as well.
Oh. So wait, is this all self-contained in each instance that you're playing the game, or is it like, do you build up experience or whatever?
Yeah, no, totally. It's like, you know, it's like playing a board game.
Okay.
As soon as you pack it away and put it away, next time you pull it out, it's the same. You know, you it's not like you're carrying things over from one match to the next. It's not like you can get into the game and there are going to be people in there that are just 10 times better than you, you know, and have it's not a deck builder or anything like that. All the cards draw from a common deck, just like, you know, just like a card game like poker or something like that.
And how many players does it support?
So 1 to 4 players.
Oh, okay.
But if you're playing in single player, then obviously the other players will be AI.
And you're all like technically playing like against one another, correct?
Yeah, so there's nothing that says, hey, you have to attack the other heroes or you have to fight each other, but just because of the fact that you're all going for the same goal, there's going to be skirmishes, there's going to be, you know, like conflict.
Is that a badger?
That's a bear. The
bear, okay.
That's the bear. So we can do things as well. So while these guys are having their turn, we can still do things like drag out a card and equip it. This is our, you know, our hero page that says all our stats and stuff.
Wait, what was that guy that just?
So that was a Bane. So now we've got there's a lot happening. So at the start of every round, it's card draw. So when you start your turn, you get to draw new cards. There's 3 decks: items, spells, or trickery. And trickery are sort of like your Game of Thrones style political plays.
Burglar.
Yeah. So this one will steal a card from someone else.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But these guys over here that you saw before are Bane. So they're like basically a dark force that moves around the board.
Oh, so that's not another player?
No, that's an NPC. So them and the Kingsguard are our NPCs on the board. So these guys will move around during the day and keep the peace, and at night these guys spawn from a dungeon and will try and terrorize villages and things like that.
As you've been like playtesting this both in the computer game and then previously with the kind of like board game prototype part, is it like, it seems like, I don't know, for whatever reason, and this might just be like the kind of because of the shape of the tiles and everything, but it sort of reminds me of a game like Settlers of Catan or something like that.
Right.
Do you see stuff happening, like do 2 players end up kind of forming some kind of ad hoc alliance for
that totally
parts
happens.
of the game and stuff like that?
We even have cards that will promote that too. So we have cards that if you play it on a hero, they'll get 2 gold and you'll get 2 gold or something like that. But the alliances are always temporary because, you know, only one of you can win. But it's really indirect competitiveness, you know. So you can have those moments, and we'll have chat in the game as well. So you could like chat to another player and say, hey, the wolf's getting ahead, you know, like next round if you attack him, I'll give you this card, or I'll give you some gold or something like that.
Right.
So we can even do things like we can capture settlements here, and now our clan banner goes down there and we'll get a gold every dawn from that. And when I go onto this forest here, I can't. I'm actually out of action points. Don't have any cards for that.
How often does the day-night cycle?
So every time I hit end turn, every player will have their turn.
Oh, okay.
And then once all the players have had their turn, then it changes from day or to night. So each round is either in daytime or at nighttime.
Gotcha. And so what is that guy, the rabbit just attacked?
Yeah, the rabbit just attacked the Bane. So now we're going to see some combat here.
Oh, okay.
So the wolves just attacked us, and when we go into combat, we really sort of keep that tabletop flavor.
Yeah.
So he's just burned a card, and what that means is we have these symbols in the corners of the card, and they correspond to symbols on the dice. Now, if I was to burn that, the timer ran out, but if I was to burn that card, it would sacrifice the card, and I would get a symbol. One of my dice would be guaranteed to be that symbol.
Right.
So I flip the dice out. It's all physics-based.
It's kind of what reminds me of like Hearthstone in a way too.
Yeah, there's some elements there that are kind of similar.
So there's like kind of PvP combat.
Yeah,
in these
definitely.
Kind of moments. And then what happens like if he loses? Or whoever loses
so
that
I
match?
lost. He would have pushed me off the tile then, but because the bear was there, I had nowhere to go. So I just I died, but I respawn at my castle, at my clan grounds.
Oh, okay. So then what's the kind of end game that you're all working towards?
Just basically progressing your character as fast as possible, like equipping items, gaining prestige, all that sort of stuff. So that you're powerful enough to get into this palace. So on these tiles in the palace, there are these perils, which are like trap cards basically that you've got to evade or get past to get into the king and to fight him, or to banish him with spirit stones, or a few different ways to take out the king. And then once you've done that, you become king or queen of Armello.
Gotcha.
So that's basically the gist of things. We can do things like I could play this card, so it's a thunderstorm, and if I play it to a mountain, it'll cause a couple of wounds to anyone on there. So if I play that to that mountain, it creates a peril, which is like a trap card. So if one of those guys walked onto it, then they would have to roll against that card to escape it.
Oh, nice.
So there's a whole heap of, but if there was a hero on there, it would just play onto them instantaneously. So card play's like really ubiquitous.
Right. What is like this little guy? What's the kind of Kingsguard doing?
So the Kingsguard, they basically move a hex each day, and he's just come off this settlement. So at dawn, they all move around. There's about 4 of them on the board, and they just keep the peace. They'll try and hunt those Banes and stuff like that. But as soon as one of the heroes attacks the palace, then they'll go hostile. Yeah.
So they're not like actively trying to attack you necessarily, but if you try to step onto the board where he is, will you guys like have to then initiate a fight or something?
Yeah. At the moment, I can't attack him, but if he went hostile, then yeah, I could definitely attack him.
Oh, so then you just like can't go onto the tile that he's in?
Yeah, he blocks tiles basically.
And what is the difference between the different so these tiles are all mountains, but then like the forest, and what is that one?
So I just went onto a dungeon, and when you walk onto a dungeon, you automatically explore. So you have a chance of awakening a Bane and like having them spawn there and attack you. But you also do things like you can find some gold or a spirit stone, or find a party, like a character to enter your party and stuff like that. Then we have a forest, which will give us stealth at night. The mountains will give us a defense bonus if we're on them. These guys over here, the stone circles, they give us health, and the swamps will damage us.
Gotcha.
So they all have a different sort of effect.
What are the other characters in your party that you mentioned? Is that,
so basically here we have... Oh, the bear's attacking us, hold on.
Hate it when that happens.
So this is where I can show you. So if I burn this card, see it's guaranteeing like these symbols on my dice, because they're the symbols from the corner. So if I drag a sword symbol in there, it'll give me a sword, and that gives me a hit. So swords are hits, shields will block hits, and see the bear's got a sun. That basically means as well that because it's daytime, that's a hit. If it was nighttime, the sun would be a miss. So the day-night stuff plays into gameplay as well.
And what are can you describe a little bit kind of the sort of key differences? Like what's the difference between playing as the little mouse guy versus playing as the bear?
For sure. So it's basically in their stat builds, like in their layout, and every hero has a different hero power as well, which is sort of like a game-changing ability or passive effect.
So you just won that one?
Yeah, so I just won that one. I held the bear off.
Nice.
So yeah, we've got different stats. So the rat is really good at playing those trickery cards and sort of evading combat and things like that, whereas the bear is really like a spellcaster, so to speak.
Why did that, the bunny that was just attacking
he just went on our trap then, so yeah. But sorry, you're saying why did the bunny...
why is the bunny guy focused on attacking the Bane character? Does he get anything out of that, or shouldn't... what's the sort of benefit of doing it that way versus just, gunning straight towards the castle?
Well, if you gun straight towards the castle, the king's just too powerful. So he's dying, he's losing power. So as he's sort of declining in power, all the heroes are growing in power. So there's this nice middle point where it's sort of your optimal point to go in, and it's your job as a player to sort of gauge, am I ready yet? Are the other guys ready? Should I go in now, or should I wait around? Do I have another round before they start to storm the castle?
Right. So what is this?
So this is rot wine. So this will basically, it'll give us a wound, but we'll gain an extra action point if we use it. And then we have spells, so Tangle Vine, I can play that onto a swamp and it'll slow people down and injure them. And then we've got, this is one of those cards that I was saying, as sort of, a benefit, like an alliance.
So you can use that, and do you share it with another of the
so
characters?
I'll play that onto another hero, and then both of us gain 2 prestige.
But then, if you give that to someone else, can they still turn around and attack you in their next turn, so they could totally betray you?
Yeah, and we really wanted to get that in there. We played a lot of Illuminati by Steve Jackson and stuff like that, and it's awesome for talking across the table and setting up an alliance. But then in the next turn, that person totally flipping that back on you. Betrayal's the best thing about board games, so we really wanted to get that in there.
Brings out the worst in people.
Yeah, totally.
Wait, so when you were just selecting the cards too, though, you seemed... How many cards do you get at the beginning of each turn?
So we've got a stat called Wits, and basically that stat governs how many cards you can hold in your hand.
Oh, okay. And does the mouse? It seems like you had a lot. So
yeah,
is that
so
one of the
mouse is definitely
assets?
like because he's the sort of the trickery style player. So he has a higher wits than all of the other heroes. He can hold more cards.
Gotcha.
But the best thing is that through like equipping cards and things like that. So I don't have any more to equip, but I can equip items, and these are the followers that I was talking about. So those characters that you meet, they come in the form of these really powerful cards. And then also we have talents. So these are all placeholder at the moment, but each hero will have their own unique talent tree, and we can basically augment our hero that way. Cool. You might go into the game starting with someone who's like a really strong fighter, but then you can invest in magic and sort of make them a bit of a spell sword and stuff. So there's no classes. It's just each hero starts off with a particular stat spread and a power, and then you can sort of build them and mold them from there.
Right. Who did the like art for the game? Because it's really
So Ty Carey is our art director. Amazingly talented guy. He's been doing this for almost 20 years or something now.
Yeah.
And he's really been the custodian of how the game looks, and making sure that it has that united vision. But he's brought on artists from all over the place. Really talented people. We have one of our key artists is Adam Duncan, who's an animator and illustrator, and he's done a lot of our character design, and also does stuff to do with we've got these beautiful animated trailers, and so his animation studio does those for us too. So he's one of our key collaborators, and then we've got other people like Soma Boxer and some other people.
Cool. And does for the map, what we're seeing right now, you mentioned that it's kind of randomly procedurally generated at the beginning of each match.
Yep.
Are there different kind of levels? Is there one in a kind of lava zone or something like that versus the forest?
This is Armello basically.
Oh, okay.
We have spoken about bringing out more map packs, and we've actually got a stretch goal within the Kickstarter to do a winter map. So like Armello but in winter. But yeah, that's something that we can totally add. Our system allows for having sort of different style tiles. But yeah, this is the one. This is Armello.
What was how did you kind of, because you mentioned the Redwall connection before, but how did you sort of settle on the concept of the anthropomorphized little critters?
So yeah, there was the thing where Blake, one of our directors, wanted to do something Redwall, but because it's a board game, so I'm doing a lot of the writing and the narrative design for the game. I'm sort of in charge of that, and it just having characters that are animals, especially as a board game, just gives us so much to lean on, because as a board game I don't have all these tools to explain what's going on and drop a whole heap of lore onto the players or who a character is. But if you look and you've got the rat or you've got the bear with the big staff, you just instantly know, it's a bear wizard, or it's a rat rogue. If you show a weasel, people are probably going to think he's the slippery, slimy guy. So there are a whole heap of connotations that we can draw upon with that really work for us.
It's easy to read emotions into animals.
Super strong.
You should have a DLC where Lil Bub is one of the characters or something like that. So yeah, this is Armello. You said that you want to have some sort of alpha build out later this year, correct?
Yeah,
to
totally.
The general public?
So we want to get some sort of early access build or something going out by the end of this year to people, so that they can get their hands on it. And so also so we can start some testing, and then we're hoping that Q1 next year we're going to be able to get it out. But because it's our passion project, it's sort of a when it's ready sort of deal. We want it to be as best as it can.
And it's coming out on
PC, Mac, Linux, and iPad.
Okay. Awesome.
And that'll be available via Steam and also DRM free through Humble Bundle and stuff.
Oh, nice. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you.
When I was a kid, I really wanted to go inside of a computer. Movies like Tron and, to a lesser extent, Lawnmower Man and shows like Reboot envisioned this world inside of computers